10:07 at WPSL, the talk of the Treasure Coast, and time now for Joanne's World of Nutrition, heard every Thursday morning in the 10 o'clock hour, right here on WPSL, brought to you by Nutrition World in downtown Fort Pierce. And now, here's your host, Joanne Seeger.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone's having an incredible morning. I have to admit, this last week I've been a little rattled, so I'm sorry I missed last Thursday, but my teenage son broke his ankle, and yes, it really had me all loopy-looped because his bedroom is, at the top of a very tall staircase, and so we've been trying to figure out how to wait on him hand and foot, from a distance. So, yeah, 9 more weeks to go. So everyone, lots of good vibes and prayers for us, okay? All right, well, today is going to be a very special day. We have one of my favorite guests coming on. And here, I think he's live with us, right? Dr. Jason. Good morning, Dr. Jason.
Hey, good morning, Joanne. How are you?
I am good. Thank you for my surprise visit you gave me. That was very nice to see you again.
It was great to see the new location, too. Very nice.
Oh, thank you very much. Yeah, like I said, last week was a little rough with me with my son breaking his ankle, but I'm put back together now, so my brain's in line. So today, can you tell our listeners, hopefully we have some newbies tuning into the radio show, about your past and what brought you to nutrition and healing and all the amazing products that you have out?
Yeah, it's quite a journey. Joanne, you and I have talked about it numerous times, and people always get excited about where I came from and where I am today. So, for those of you that are listening today that haven't heard of me or my products before, good morning. My name is Dr. Jason DuBuise, and I'm the founder and formulator of a company called Hybrid Remedies. And I actually started this company about 8 years ago. And we currently have 3 products in the market, and we'll probably talk about 1 or 2 of them this morning. But my journey into the natural realm is kind of unique in the sense that, I actually didn't start out in this. My background is actually in clinical pharmacology and immunology. And about 15 plus years ago, had you and I met, my position on natural remedies would be quite a bit different than it is today. I was actually not a big believer in natural remedies whatsoever. 15 years ago, I was actually the lead clinical pharmacist for a very well-known, world-renowned healthcare institution called Mayo Clinic. Spent most of my years there helping people after they got a new organ transplant. So my specialties in immunology and solid organ transplant helped a lot of patients after they got transplanted. Worked very closely on developing the immunosuppression protocols, which are required after you get a new organ, and help thousands of patients get that new lease on life, as we like to say. The irony, as I was mentioning, is I was not a big believer in it. If you had asked me, Joanne, back then, if I believed in any of the stuff that you sell in your store today, I was a hardcore skeptic. And it wasn't really until I challenged my own bias, started doing my own research, not only did it change my perception of natural remedies, but some things I read really convicted me to the point where I left that company, left my career behind, and to start what I love and I'm doing today, which is Hybrid Remedies.
Jason, I do love hearing that story over and over again because it's kind of mind-blowing. I hope my listeners really understand, you have this amazing career, and it's not like you're in this little tiny, Hope hospital in the middle of nowhere. I mean, Mayo Clinic, organ transplant, and to have the faith to step out of that and to come to this world and give it your whole heart, mind, family time, everything. It's incredible. So I applaud you on that choice. And of course, I'm so glad you did because I got to meet you and also, kind of go this journey with you with your products, and hoping that there's a lot of listeners today that have their pens and paper out and so hopefully step outside that box with you to understand, to work with the body, not against it, and Yeah, so thank you for being here today and sharing your story. So totally appreciate it. All right, so Dr. Jason, so you step out of the box, you decide to go holistic. Why the first product, which is definitely, we have it on camera now. Oh, I moved it, so I'm getting yelled at. Okay, I won't touch it. There we go. We have it on camera, so if anyone wants to check it out live, Cliff has it all there. So rapid immune defense, so hybrid CR. So tell us about that flagship product and why that, out of the million things you could choose to start, in this world, why this one?
So Hybrid CR is our flagship immune product, and it's pictured there. It comes in two different sizes now, but the original size, which is still our number one selling product nationwide, is called Hybrid CR Rapid Immune Defense. And that is truly like a culmination of like 5+ years of just dedicated research, hard work. We actually did a clinical on that particular product to show it was effective. And it's just embodies like all of my passion. So if you wanted to buy a little bit of passion, that's
that
what
sounds
you're
good
getting.
to me. I love it.
But that took me a long time to formulate. I know there are a lot of other companies that formulate products, 10, 15 products in a month or sometimes a year, and we're a little bit different. We don't really have a huge line. We just really focus on creating the very best remedy that you can possibly make. So Hybrid CR was designed initially to strengthen and fortify the immune system, do it very rapidly. We use 5 different ingredients to help achieve that. And I really used my expertise in immunology and even organ transplant to really create this master formula that you have in that blue box there. A lot of people refer to it as the blue box. That's how people order it. I'm okay with that, as long as you find it and you take it. But again, it's designed to really engage your immune system. Does it on multiple levels. Helps you get over that seasonal illness, cold or flu, in about 4 days or less.
Wonderful. And the reason I want to bring that up right away is sometimes my listeners will come in and say, oh, Joanne, I missed the part. Now, what product was Dr. Jason talking about? So I figure we'll repeat that a few times throughout the show, so they remember, what your flagship product is, okay? But I think the intent of today's show was to really discuss the immune system and how these things can affect it, even though there are some people that are saying ridiculous claims that the immune system can't be helped. We definitely believe it can be. So can you explain to our listeners just the basics of the immune system? I'm sure we could talk for hours about it, but just you have such a great way of presenting it in easy to understand terms, like how we can help it and how it kind of runs on a day-to-day basis.
Yeah, so the immune system is super complex, right? There's a lot of different moving parts to it, and it is indeed a system. When we think about the organs in our body, we tend to think of things like heart and lung and our brain, and those are really easy to visualize or conceptualize because we know where the brain is, we know what and where the heart is, and we kind of generally understand how the lungs work and stuff like that. With the immune system, it's not necessarily something you can see easily with the naked eye, at least many parts of the immune system. But one thing that initially makes up our immune system that we totally discount, and it's really incredibly important, is what we call the barrier part to the immune system. And so this is like your skin, the outside, the integument, the outside of your skin. Basically, that's your first line of defense. That's protecting anything that might be foreign from entering your body. The skin is a fantastic organ that helps protect us from a lot of bad things, a lot of pathogens and bacteria and virus. We know this to be true because when we get a cut on our skin, a lot of times bacteria can infect it and create other infectious diseases in our body. So the skin is huge, and that also extends to the inside of our body, the mucosal tract, the GI tract, and the mucosal tract. The mucosal tract lines our upper respiratory pathways. Again, when you breathe in air, you got mucous membranes lining your entire nasal passageway, which is a great thing because their job is to filter the air. And then the stomach, we can't discount that. The barrier, the stomach lining, is another barrier that helps protect our gut, and again, prevents a lot of foreign bad things from being absorbed into our body. So on its simplest form, you have your primary immune system, which is the barrier, and then you have the innate and the adaptive, and those play two different roles. But just to start with, the skin, key, hydration. I always preach hydration as one of my key tips for strengthening the immune system.
Okay, and that's definitely the most important. How much water do you kind of tell your patients as far as to drink each day?
That's a great question. I actually just did a post on my Instagram and Facebook account about how the value, not just the value of water, but the second question is, how much water do I take? And so my general rule of thumb is to take your weight in pounds and then divide that in half. And that's approximately the number of ounces of water you should take. So if you're 200 pounds, you divide that in half, that's 100. You should be drinking about 100 ounces of water throughout the day in a normal day. But if you're exercising, well, your needs are going to go up, even more than that. But your base should be whatever that half your body weight in pounds.
I do that same rule, so I love it. And what do you say when someone's drinking a lot of coffee or sweet tea or iced tea? Do you kind of up it at all for that allowance?
Certainly things that have caffeine are working against you, ultimately, as far as hydration goes. I like to encourage everyone to try to get in the water as best you can. So some people have to sweeten that water. They can't drink plain water. Adding lemon or any kind of citrus is great. It's going to alkalize the water a little bit and help your body out. But try to minimize that caffeine content. It's going to work against you.
Yeah, I know. I have a lot of customers, and I have been guilty of it sometimes in the morning, where you go like 2-3 hours not realizing you're only doing caffeinated beverages and you haven't even taken a sip of water. That hot liquid feels so good. So yeah, so let's definitely all try to drink some more water, take your weight, divide it in half. And for any listeners that feel like, I'm always in the bathroom, or they're worried about bladder control, one of my little tricks is to divide those ounces of water into every hour you're awake. And so it's like, can be like sometimes 4 or 5 ounces per hour, and then you don't overwhelm your bladder. So definitely don't give up on hydration just because there might be a bladder issue. So definitely
Agreed.
The first start.
Agreed. Good tip.
All
That's
right. So all right, keep going. I'm loving all of this.
So just circling back to hybrid CR, because a lot of people ask, is this a product that's appropriate for me, or when should I take it? This is the question I get most often, is when is the best time to take hybrid CR? So the dose pack is great, and that's the one in front of you, Joanne. The dose pack is great because it's designed for individual use. And the wonderful thing about hybrid CR, and the way I went about designing it, is you can use it at any point in time of that illness. And that's not true for all remedies. Like, one of the things I noticed about homeopathic, and nothing against them, but when it comes to like cold and flu, you really got to start the homeopathic right on time, right? There's a very finite window that you should be using that. The great thing about hybrid CR is, because of how it works in engaging your immune system, you can take it at any point in time. So a customer could come into your store today, be 3 days into their illness, they could start the hybrid CR pack, and as long as they stay the course, they'll get better in 4 days. And so that's one of the reasons why our product has done so well. It's grown so rapidly. It actually won an award in a major magazine just earlier this year as one of the best immune products for women, and very proud of that award. So we're making progress.
Yes, and I really want to emphasize that Dr. Jason, as he has just stated, has been doing this way before COVID, and so he has integrity, and his products were not brought up just to get a buck made during this pandemic. So what I love is that I have always sold these products. I know we love our story, right, Dr. Jason? You came in being the best retailer. Best retailer. I didn't mean to say that. The first retailer.
Absolutely. What are you talking about?
But the first retailer, and you were so humble about, who you were, and And, and this product has helped so many of my customers and myself and my children and my family members. So people really need to come in and get this little innocent blue box, because one of the things I've noticed, Dr. Jason, is I tell everyone, keep it in your pantry. And the first sign of any duress, like, how sometimes you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and something just doesn't feel right. I'm like, don't be lazy. Don't go back to sleep. Go in the pantry and take that first pill. And then when you wake up, take that next one. And to be honest, sometimes I feel like I don't even need to go through the box. It's just like I go down that first row. And I do love your blister packs. They make it so easy. I can throw it in my purse, super convenient. And, yeah, and I feel like I go one row and I'm good. So, yeah, definitely a great product.
Yeah, so that is still today our number one selling product. We also came out with a 30-count bottle. And just real quick, there's no difference between the dose pack and the bottle of the Hybrid CR. It's just you get more of it. And it seems to be a better fit there for people that want to take it every day. So you can use Hybrid CR as a preventative. A capsule a day is our recommendation for most people. And I usually advise people when I'm counseling my patients is do it for the high risk period. So the high risk period for many of us right now is going to be, October through March. And that remains to be seen with the issues with COVID. So even if we didn't have COVID and we weren't really dealing with, some of the concerns and fears surrounding that virus, I would still want you to, protect yourself. Get immune strong, as I like to say, that's my saying, and protect yourself during the next 5 months. Once we get through March, let's reevaluate things, and usually I advise my patients, taper off of that immune support product for a little bit. There are a few people that would need it year round, but by and large, take a break.
Okay, so October through March, if you get the larger size, one a day, or if you're feeling like you're just coming down with something, just start doing the 4-day protocol. But let me ask you, Dr. Jason, I might be wrong, but I really feel like a lot of my regular customers, when they start feeling off in any way, cold, flu, or unfortunately, even if it's COVID, they're not going out and getting their regular supply of their natural remedies to feel better. Do you have any suggestions for them? I mean, obviously I do mail order. I can ship it to them, but should they suffer, or should they really go out and get their things and get this taken care of?
Well, the value of a good health care team cannot be understated. And now I extend that team to, not just your doctor, right, but also like try to find a good pharmacist. They're hard to find, but try to seek out a good one that understands you, is willing to take time to talk to you. The pharmacists today, they're super busy, but try to find a good one, and then find a great health food store, and they're out there. You just got to go look and find them. If you walk into the health food store and they have staff that's knowledgeable and they have staff that's willing to spend time and talk to you, that's huge. That's absolutely huge. And they can make recommendations. It would be the same thing as like having a one-on-one consult with me. Back when I was doing that service, I would be counseling you on medicines, but I also had intimate knowledge on certain immune supplements. Joanne's health food store is, like your store, is absolutely amazing in that regard. So it's just build your team and include that. Definitely go to the health food stores and with knowledgeable stores like yours, Joanne, it's an amazing resource.
Thank you, Dr. Jason. And I can't emphasize enough to get a plan together. I tell people that it's not like, to me, setting up like a negativity, in your mind. It's just basically being prepared. To me, there's a difference. And before COVID, colds were possibilities, flus were possibilities, or just, feeling tired or run down or anxious or depressed. Anything's a possibility. To have a plan and set, your, like you mentioned, your team, the people that you can count on to call and say, hey, can you run to the store and get this produce for me, this product for me, and, grab it for me, drop it at my door, So I would definitely encourage everyone to have a plan just in case they're not feeling well, even if it's a simple cold. Definitely. But I will definitely ship to any of my listeners for free. And usually it's over $50, but I'll make an exception for this radio show guest today. Any of his products I will ship for free, even if it's under $50. All right. So sleep. Dr. Jason, before we're going to take a break in 2 minutes, and then I definitely want to talk about your newest product. But before we do, can we emphasize sleep? I find that a lot of my customers are spending way too much time scrolling and on the news and the TV and really losing vital sleep. Can you tell them why that's important? I should say why sleep is important.
Sleep is incredibly important for so many body functions, but it also does impact your immune system. And there's some very good data and even clinical trials that have shown that if you are getting less than 7 hours of sleep in any given night, your risk for getting a cold increases fourfold. So that, I always advocate you got to get more than 7 hours of sleep every single night. If you're younger, if you're like a teenager, you should be, getting, 10 to 12 hours of sleep. And, my teenagers, I've got 3 of them, and they are professional sleepers. So they have no trouble getting in a solid 15 hours unless I wake them. But for us adults that are busy and stressed, these are things that work against our immune system, and sleep is absolutely critical.
Okay, good point. All right, so we are going to take a break, but I want all my listeners to stay tuned because Dr. Jason's going to continue to talk about the immune system and practical steps to help it, as well as some amazing new products. All right, everyone, stay tuned, and we will be right back. Hi, this is Joanne from Nutrition World. Just letting all of my listeners know we have been diligent in sanitizing the store and using every precaution possible to keep our customers safe. Check out my online store at joannesnutritionworld.com. Really great deals and free shipping over $50. I am really hoping that all my listeners are taking time right now to get fresh air, to get exercise into their daily routine, keep hydrated, and get the proper amount of sleep. It's critical right now that attitude is everything. To please take time to laugh, to give yourself a break. You can find Nutrition World right on US 1 in Fort Pierce, across from Fort Pierce City Hall, in between Orange Avenue and Avenue A. Our phone number is 772-464-3598. Call me with any questions or concerns. All my best, Joanne.
Joanne's Nutrition World, now open from 11 to 3, Monday through Saturday. Call 464-3598.
Hey, it's Dr. Ravi at Tradition Family Chiropractic. We are dedicated to serving you and your family with integrity, compassion, and innovative care through the most advanced chiropractic care ever in chiropractic history, encouraging your health and your family's health to its maximum potential on a regular basis. Call us today at 772-345-0060 or schedule online at traditionhealth.com for your free consultation.
Welcome back to Joanne's World of Nutrition. Let's get right back to the show. Once again, here's Joanne.
Hello, everyone. Happy Thursday. I hope everyone's having a great morning. We have Dr. Jason with us today. He is a pharmacist that has an amazing background helping not only with immunology, organ transplant, but he decided to step into the natural world many years ago and has been succeeding in having some amazing products and helping probably thousands of people by now. So, Dr. Jason, once again, thank you for spending some time with us this morning.
Good morning, Joanne, and thanks again for having me on the show.
All right, so we were talking about hybrid CR earlier, famously known as the blue box, and
Correct. The blue
definitely
box.
helping so many people. But I think I know you came out with immune support protocols after COVID was in the limelight. So are you still going along with that protocol? Because I know it's everything that you have written here is still true to this day. Do you want to talk about that protocol this morning?
Sure. So this protocol that you're reviewing there is something that came about in early March. Dr. John Kim and I, who's a colleague pharmacist, works up and owns his own pharmacy. Big believer in natural remedies as well, holistic care in New Jersey. He and I collaborated on this protocol to address a lot of our patients' concerns when it came to COVID. Now, if you remember, back in February, March, there was a lot of unknowns. There was a lot of concerns, a lot of fears, and to some degree, a lot of that did manifest. And out of that, Dr. John Kim and I, we decided to review the literature, review what was available at that time, and put together a protocol, give our customers, our patients, some guidance on how to take care of yourself. And these are things that, Joanne, like you have these tools at your store, and we reviewed the ingredient list with you. And these are ingredients that are available at your store. They're not available at every average store. So, some of these ingredients are high quality. They're well researched and they're designed to work. And our protocol does include hybrid CR, but it also includes things like vitamin C in certain doses, zinc, and NAC, and then I might be leaving one out, but those are the core ones that I remember.
D3.
D3, thank
Yep.
you. I knew there was one more. D3.
Yeah, and to me, that it does seem like people are listening to this protocol. I get a lot of new customers that are just on a new journey with supplements, and they are receiving the information well. They're believing in it, and they are taking the D3, the zinc, and they're also really on an elderberry. Now, I've been taking elderberry for 30 years, but now a lot of newbies are starting on elderberry, and it seems like you've taken a very new liking to it as well.
Well, I've always liked elderberry, Joanne, and
Okay.
as I got into the industry, I had my initial favorites. One of them being andrographis, which I'll probably touch on before the end of the show because I love that herb. But elderberry is an amazing herb plant. There's a lot of great data showing that elderberry and its effects or benefits when it comes to certain influenza viruses. And let's not discount that we're in flu season, right? So we've kind of got caught up with COVID and talking about that and testing for it and worrying about it. But flu is also is a real thing.
Yeah.
And it's actually, in my humble opinion, it's actually more serious than COVID in its own way. And we've if we tested to the same degree that we test for COVID, if we tested for the flu in any given year, you'd find it pretty intense and pretty rampant. It creates a lot of deaths and hospitalizations. So we can't ignore that. And one of the best herbs that I have found in combating influenza or having a therapeutic benefit is elderberry. Now, elderberry comes in many different species and many different varieties, but the data is clear. If you read the published trials, it shows that the Sambucus nigris version of the elderberry plant has been shown to be the most effective. That's what we use in our new product called Hybrid EB Plus, Complete Elderberry Immune Support. And this is a culmination of probably a little bit over a year that I've been working on this formula, and I was just very fortuitous to be able to launch the product when we did. We launched it in June, and it's been doing very well since.
All right. Dr. Jason, so elderberry, I mean, I always knew like Sambucus, Sambucol, but now I'm seeing on my social media feeds like all these local moms and these people are talking about making their own syrups and teas. So when you say different types, is it like green apple, red apple, or is it like a whole different looking plant?
So there are some similarities, of course, in the elderberry plant from species to species. But if you want to use the species that has been tested, clinically proven to work, then you would need to use the elderberry, the actual berry from the Sambucus nigris plant. And they've shown that that particular elderberry, the black elderberry or the black elderberry, happens to have the highest concentrations in anthocyanins. And so that's why you see it reported out in a lot of studies. Does it mean that the other elderberry plants are ineffective? No, I wouldn't say that. I would just say, that they may not be as potent as the black elderberry.
Yeah, and I know that it matters how it's grown as well, and if it's harvested correctly. And so it's important. And I love that you research where you're getting all your ingredients from to make sure that they are what they say they are. So that way people get an effective dose.
And that is the other thing, an effective dose.
Yeah, right. And that's what I want to ask you. Did you go by like the dose on the bottle? Is that more preventative dosing or like therapeutic when you are sick?
So these are great questions, and I've gotten them quite a bit since I've launched this product. Fair enough, and I like these questions. The design of the idea behind the Hybrid EB Plus is it's intended to be daily immune support that you can use year round. So our recommended dosing for this is 1 to 2 capsules, depending on your age. But for adults, it's 2 capsules a day. And unlike Hybrid CR, where I might instruct or advise you to take a break, the great part about Hybrid EB Plus is you can use it year round. So it's something that is safe, effective year round for daily immune support. That's the goal. If you do fall under the weather, I'm going to advise you to switch over to Hybrid CR. Hybrid CR is more assertive, stronger. You want to use that kind of terminology. The Hybrid EB is softer. And each herb has its strengths, right? So the benefit of like elderberry, the data is very compelling when it comes to like the influenzas, influenza A, influenza B, and its efficacy. Conversely, Andrographis, which is my all-time favorite herb ever, that data is stronger for things like rhinoviruses and coronaviruses. So if that's your concern, I'm going to probably recommend CR. If it's influenza and flu-type illnesses, that's going to be elderberry.
I
Big
bet you
question that comes
everyone's
up is,
saying,
can I
I
use
want
both?
it all. I want it all. Yeah.
Yeah, can I use both? And they are formulated to complement each other. So they won't interfere with each other. You can use both if you feel you need that.
Yeah, that's definitely, and and they're affordable. We're not talking about any crazy prices, easy to use, convenient. And what about for the whole family? Like, so, if you have little ones or elderly, because I know you listed, we all know the high risk people now. So can any age take your formulas?
So another great question, and it comes up often. And there are some age criteria that we recommend. So the Hybrid CR, speaking specifically of that one, the blue box, that's 12 and up. So we're recommending that you need to be at least 12 or older. For the Hybrid EB, this is much more flexible. So you can take it as young as 3. There's no upper age limit, so it's 3 and up. And if you can't swallow that capsule, what's great about the EB is you can open it. You can put it on some yogurt or some applesauce or even mix it in a drink. Taste profile is pretty neutral, so you're not really going to notice it, or the child's not going to notice it. And
love that.
I think, the other thing I'll just say is I'm not a big believer in gummies. I think, Joanne, you and I
Oh, yeah.
had
Oh, my God.
heart-to-heart talk
Yes.
about gummies. And I know, listen, I get it. They're popular, they're chewy, they're semi-delicious, right? All that good stuff, but they're not. People ask, why don't I get into the gummy business? And the reason I don't get into the gummy business is because it's very, very challenging to put a therapeutic amount of ingredient into a gummy. Like for me to like replicate the therapeutic power in any one of those two remedies there, I mean, you'd have to take like 10 gummies, or it'd be like a gummy would be like the size of your hand or something, it'd be just ridiculously big. So that's why
and they
I don't
always
do
add
gummies.
sugar, which is one of the reasons that the immune system might be challenged in the first place. So the remedy is also one of the causes. It's, I don't know, but you're right. I mean, I try not to sell gummies, but like some people just really love them.
They want them.
Yes,
they
love
want
them.
So, I'm trying to educate people. I'm trying to fight the good fight.
I know, you're trying to do the right thing. I hear you. Well, like you just mentioned, I mean, you can open it up and it's, user friendly and tastes, decent. So they can add it to their drink or their smoothie or their protein shake or, and then, there you go. No pills to swallow if that's the issue.
Yeah, no pills to swallow.
Can you open up the hybrid CR? Is that
so? The hybrid CR, you got to be pretty bold. If you're feeling bold and you got some moxie, then you can open it. There's no harm in opening it, but it's just super bitter.
Oh, I love bitter.
Yeah.
I think bitter is awesome. Really great for the liver and gallbladder. All right, so I'm going to encourage that.
A lot of people aren't ready for that, but yeah.
Okay, well, we'll get them ready. All right, so now we have, so in the beginning of the show, we talked about hydration is key, water, getting a good night's sleep, 7+ hours, be preventive, have a plan, be preventive, have all these things, really, really important. But you have another product, okay? I want to make sure it gets some time on the show. Your allergy sinus formula. So tell us about that, because right now I find that I'm seeing a lot of people, not the cold, not the flu, they're like suffering with allergies right now. So can you kind of, I feel like sometimes everyone's talking about COVID and not all the things that have bothered us for, the last 50 years. So.
Yeah, and allergies affect quite a few Americans.
Yeah, they make us miserable. Ugh.
Yeah, there's at least 50 million Americans suffer from allergies.
Yeah, that's a lot.
That's a lot, and it's growing. It's not going down. It's actually going up incrementally each year. And hybrid AR is something that it took me a long time to formulate this product. Again, this one took me 3.5 years to perfect. And people ask me if I have a favorite remedy, if I have a favorite product. And like, I have 3 children and they're all young and they're still living with me. And, technically we're not supposed to have a favorite, right? But secretly we all do, right?
Boy, I hope they're not listening to this show. Are you going to disclose which one it is?
Well, it also changes too. So,
okay.
It can change from day to day or week to week or sometimes hour to hour. But I love hybrid AR. And there's 2 reasons why it's just such a game changer for a lot of people that have seasonal allergies, that suffer from it. And for the longest time, I had a lot of my patients saying, can you develop something that will work fast, something that will help me get off Claritin or Zyrtec or even Benadryl. And so I set the task, and it was not easy, but we achieved a formula that works fast. So a 2-capsule loading dose will give someone relief within 20 minutes. And we're the first natural remedy, at least that I'm aware of, that lasts all day. So it's a true once-a-day dosing remedy, just like the drug, but it's all natural.
And no horrible side effects. So
and almost no side effects. That's right.
All right. Now I have a weird question. Okay, but I just remembered there are some people that their allergy symptoms occur on their skin. So they're not the itchy, watery eyes, not the sneezing, but they get rashes. And it is environmental, not food. Would this help that?
So if it's
like, how, like they take
as
Benadryl normally, for it.
Yeah. So if you're getting like hives or a rash that appears to be hive-like, that actually is a pretty serious reaction that probably needs, I don't normally recommend drugs, but, Benadryl would be an appropriate option for that. The natural remedies that are out there that I'm aware of, and Joanne, correct me if I'm wrong, but they're more, they do work, they just take a little bit more time. So if you're having a serious allergic reaction, that I always like to guide people to seek medical attention on that.
Yeah, I think I feel like a new product needs to be in your pipeline, because I'm having a lot of moms that their children are showing all these very highly allergic skin symptoms, and their doctors are just referring them to daily Benadryl use. And I'm like, there has to be a better way. There just has to. So there you go. That's your new research project, okay?
All right, so 3.5 years from now, we'll talk about the next.
All right, sounds good. I'm patient. I'm willing to wait. All right. Well, I am so thankful that we still have plenty of time to talk about why Andrographis is one of your favorites, and then we can get into each ingredient in Hybrid CR and why you chose it and why it helps immune system.
So Andrographis, Joanne, you're talking my love language now. I spent years and years researching natural remedies. I researched close to over 200 natural remedies and counting when I was formulating Hybrid CR. And I would say the one ingredient that truly convicted me, you gotta understand, I was a hardcore skeptic. I didn't use natural remedies. I didn't believe in them. I certainly wasn't recommending them. And when I set out on this quest to figure out whether herbs worked or not, when it came to immune strength, I went into it pretty hard bias. I went into it with the intent of researching and looking for things to prove me right. Right? That's kind of what we do when we get on the internet.
That's so funny.
We're looking for people that are like-minded. We're looking for people that strengthen our own resolve, our own position on a particular topic, be it politics or otherwise. And it took me a while, but it was like one of these things, the more I researched, the more I couldn't deny it. As hard as I wanted to.
Oh my God, I love that.
And then I started researching Andrographis, and that honestly, that's really changed a lot of my position on natural. That herb is amazing on so many levels. And you have to understand, I was researching, now Andrographis is just now becoming popular, right?
Yep.
We're hearing more about it. There's I have competitors now that are making Andrographis, but you got to understand, I was researching this back in 2000, 2001.
Yeah, it's only this last year that everyone else is really bringing it to the market.
Yeah. So I was really intrigued with it. There's been a ton of clinical data that has come out on Andrographis and its effect on COVID-19, and you can Google all that. And again, it's a great natural remedy. It's very powerful. It has historical data showing its efficacy, not only against rhinovirus, which is otherwise known as the common cold, but it also has published data on SARS and MERS. These are other coronaviruses that we have encountered a decade or so ago. And now with the advent of COVID-19, we're seeing official clinical trials being implemented and developed and devoted to the efficacy of Andrographis. And I'm looking for it to be published, but the data I've seen so far has been very impressive.
I love that one. Now, is Andrographis like the Elderberry? Do you have to really be careful about choosing the right one?
So the great thing about Andrographis is it's like a weed almost, right? And I say that with loving, tender care. It's not a weed that we want to get rid of. It just grows like a weed. So it's an Ayurvedic medicine. So it's been studied and known for thousands of years in India, but you can grow it anywhere. It's easy to grow, and really it just comes down to it's not one of these remedies that you can grow and use on your own easily. But in the plant world, it's easy to use and get high quality.
Do you mean because it has to be prepared a special way, or it can't just be chopped up and thrown in your salad?
Right. So this
I'm
I
thinking
mean,
dandelion,
you
like.
could use, yes. Yeah. You can use small amounts of andrographis. It's edible, but it's super bitter, right? Super supremely bitter. So it's not pleasant to eat. But from the andrographis plant itself, there are actually 9 properties found within the leaf. But you actually don't want all 9. There's only really 1 or 2, mainly 1, that you want the most of, and it's called andrographilide.
Okay.
So any product, if you're going to go and buy andrographis, make sure it's standardized to andrographilide. And all that really means is that there's one part of that plant that manufacturer has concentrated, and you want that because that's where the therapeutic power relies. You'll get some of the other additive constituents in there, but the main one is andrographilide.
Okay. And now I know you love Echinacea, but that is definitely like elderberry where there's all different kinds. So please tell us why you chose Echinacea for the formula and why that specific type.
So Echinacea was a tough one to decide on because, again, I went into it with a pretty hardcore skeptic attitude. And if you look and you read all the published data, and I did, there's like 400 papers printed or published on Echinacea. And the results are all across the board. And you really have to look at the data very, very carefully. But what I determined from the literature was that Echinacea is effective. It does come in different forms. In the U.S., the most common ones you're going to see is Echinacea angustifolia, Echinacea purpurea, and Echinacea padilla. Those are the most common ones that you'll see here in the U.S. I would say of the Echinaceas, the angustifolia has therapeutic power, and the purpurea. I tend to like the purpurea a little bit better than angustifolia. The purpurea is what we use in our formula. We actually extract a certain ingredient out of the root to make it that much more powerful and effective. You can use the whole Echinacea plant. You will get benefit from it. You just got to use a heck of a lot more of it versus when you extract certain parts of it and really concentrate it, it becomes much more effective that way.
All right. Now, this third one, I've always been really curious, and of course you told my listeners before, but why Panax ginseng?
Panax ginseng. So this is another one that I get questions about. People are often perplexed why it's in there because we tend to think of Panax ginseng more of like energy and
Always.
Something like
Yep.
mental focus. And it does do that. What I found in my research when I was researching the Panax ginseng, specifically the root is where a lot of the active components lie. There's actually 30 properties found within the root. And out of the 30, there's 2 of them that actually have benefits for immune function, natural killer cells and T cells. We developed a method for isolating primarily those 2 properties. There are a host of other properties found within the ginseng root that are just absolutely amazing. Like some of those properties within the root will actually lower your blood pressure. Some of them can actually increase your blood pressure. Some help with libido. Many of them help with energy. It really depends on, what plant you're harvesting and then how much of that active part is in the plant. The great thing about what we do is when you isolate certain properties out of the plant, you get what I call extreme consistency. So I know every capsule of hybrid CR has a certain amount of that particular ginseng plant. If you use the whole root, and which a lot of people do, you'll get a lot of variability because it's going to depend on where it was harvested from, what country, how was it grown, how long was it grown for, did it rain that year, did it not? So you get a lot of variability in the root when you do it that way.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I have to say that I've been very impressed with the Panax ginseng in the last 2 years. I have also read so much research that I feel like now we need clean energy and just clean immune system helpers for every day, COVID or not COVID, it doesn't matter. Just because, we don't want to miss work unless it's for real family time, vacation time. We don't want to just sit in bed with the tissue box and, it seems like such a waste of our time. So this is great. Jason, I don't know if we have time to go into the other ingredients, but we have a couple minutes left. Is there anything you want to say before we end the show?
Well, I think as we go into the latter part of 2020, and even as we enter into the first quarter of 2021, I just can't stress enough that it's important for people to stay immune strong. And when I say immune strong, what I'm meaning by that is take the time to adopt healthy lifestyle choices, eat better, sleep. We talked about the importance of sleep. We talked about the importance of drinking water and just having an overall positive mental outlook. If you incorporate those 3-4 things into your life, you're going to be much further ahead immune-wise, strength-wise, than anyone else that's not doing this. Very simple things you can change to strengthen your immune system very quickly, almost overnight. Now, I've gone on and developed like several other remedies that you might find beneficial, and Joanne could connect you with that. But I always like to advise people, if I can advise them to do things to help their health without even spending one penny, then I feel like I've done my job.
Hey, you do your job well, and I love how you speak to people because it's just, I know you know all the big words, but you don't throw them out there just to impress. So I thank you for that, and I thank you for once again coming to the Natural Team and helping people feel better. And so if anyone is just catching the end of this, come into the store, check out Dr. Jason's products, or if you need them shipped. So if you mention the radio show, I will ship for free, even if it's under minimum. Or if you come in the store, I will give you an extra 10% discount on his products. So 10% is our regular discount. You get an extra 10 if you mention the radio show. Dr. Jason, thank you. Stay well. I promise I won't tell any of your kids that you have a favorite. And
please don't.
Yeah, if my kids are listening, they're like, "Oh, wonder if Mom has a favorite." All right, Jason, you take care. And again, thanks for the visit, and I'll talk to you soon.
Great. Thank you, Joanne.
All right, everyone. I hope you have an awesome week and stay well. And please, everyone, breathe, deep breathing. We keep skipping that. We have to go back to our breathing exercises.
I knew we forgot something.
Oh, yep, forgetting it. And so drink water, breathe, get some sleep, and try to stay positive. Okay, everyone? Have a great week.
You've been listening to Joanne's World of Nutrition, brought to you by Nutrition World, directly across US 1 from Fort Pierce City Hall at the corner of US 1 and Orange Avenue. And, of course, archives of this show are on YouTube under WPSL TV, and this show is heard live every Thursday morning in the 10 o'clock hour on Digital 1590 WPSL. It's one of the many reasons we're the talk of the Treasure Coast. This is WPSL Port St. Lucie, the talk of the Treasure Coast on Google Home, Alexa, and the TuneIn app on your smartphone.